Welcome back, everybody. If you're new, my name's Nicholas, and this is Investing Against the Grain. IONIQ 6 and the Hyundai brand seem to be doing some kind of sketchy and questionable marketing against Tesla. So in today's episode, we're going to dive into this. I'm going to show you what I stumbled across whenever I was watching a YouTube video. An advertisement came up, and I found it very interesting and suspicious. So with that said, before we get into it, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. Let's get into it. Okay, so what was the situation? So the situation was I was sitting there about to watch a YouTube video when all of a sudden this advertisement came up, and it was essentially just trashing on Tesla. The whole thing was comparing the Hyundai IONIQ 6 to Tesla, which, look, I don't really care nor about these things, but when something seems disingenuous, that's when, I kind of want to call it out. So let's go ahead and take a look at this and unpack this. And to be fair, just for full transparency, I'm all in on Tesla. Been investing in Tesla for many years now. So I have Elon behind me. I'm right here. So okay, I'm biased, but I try not to be. I try to be very logical with my approach. So hopefully you feel that I'm being the same way when we go through this. All right, so let's take a lolook at this. Okay, so this was what I stumbled upon. Luckily, I was able to get a quick screenshot of this. All right, so Hyundai IONIQ 6, and they talk about they have 18-minute fast charging from 10% to 80%. We'll talk about that. Up to 361 miles of range. We'll talk about that. And then they have the Blue Link Plus connected car services. Ooh, that's a big one. Versus Tesla Model 3. Tesla doesn't have any of these things. Okay, well, let's dive into them. So let's take a look at the Hyundai IONIQ 6 website. So here we have it. And here you can see, winner of the 2023 World Car Awards, whatever those are. You can see it here. So I don't know how I feel about the car aesthetically. The back kind of reads Porsche to me. The tires read, I don't know, like some kind of grinder. And the doors, I don't know. It's somewhat of a weird swoop shape for me. But nevertheless, we're not here to talk about the aesthetics. We're here to talk about the different claims that they're making. And so here we can see that the advertisement is really around this lower model version, this SE version, right? The base trim. How do I know that? Well, they talked about 361 miles of range, which you can see right here. Rear wheel drive, estimated 361 miles, all electric range. Dual motor, estimated 316 miles, all electric range. Okay, so we'll have to like take this with a grain of salt because it's not gonna be an apples to apples to Tesla Model 3, but we'll do the best. But that's how we know we're talking about this one, because you can see this says 305, 270, and again 305, 270. So it's not these other ones. It's definitely this SE one, okay? And this is the base. All right, so let's continue here. Let's see what else we got. Premium connected car service. We just talked about that as their Blue Link. I'll dive more into that in a second about what that is. Let's see what else. Okay, future form, classic shape. Okay, interesting, right? So I mean, the pictures look nice. Again, I'm not a big fan of this body. I think it looks weird. It looks like, what it looks like? It looks like a killer whale. It looks like Shamu. So it looks like to me. Anyways, but the interior looks nice. Seats look nice, white, very Tesla-esque. Yeah, okay. So let's scroll down. Look at this. What do we have here? Okay, so we have here IONIQ 6 for the win. Feature for feature, 2023 Hyundai IONIQ 6 comes out ahead of the competition. Compare for yourself. All right, well, that's exactly what we will do here. So let's compare it to the Tesla Model 3 2023. And to me, what more advertisement do you need? You have all these automakers advertising on Tesla's behalf and on Polestar's behalf. So let's take a look at this. All right, so we'll start off the comparison here. Okay, so obviously we got the IONIQ 6. The car is bigger than what is on the Tesla Model 3. It's just popping out the screen. You can see the specs are a lot lighter and all that. And let's start going through this. Okay, MSRP. All right, so 45,500 versus 46,990. The Tesla Model 3 is actually a little more expensive now, right? As of right now, I believe it's 47,000. You can see that it would come in at, let's see, and it would go the long range for the comparison, because you'll see this is the long range they're comparing it to. That's at 47,240. Okay, so just to be real honest here, right? It is a little more expensive now. I don't actually know where the Ioniq 6 currently stands, so I should have taken a look at that, but I didn't. All right. So what are these comparisons? Okay. Blind spot view mirror. Okay. Blind or monitor, excuse me. Blind spot view monitor. All my glasses on. So here it says that it's available. Okay. Notice it's not standard, which means it's available. So you can probably add that on, is what they're saying. And you can see it's the remote smart parking assist, can remotely help you park the vehicle. However, several factors can impact all that stuff. So this is an add-on. You would have to add this on. All right. Now, I can tell you right now, because I just rented a Tesla Model 3 from Hertz to go to a wedding the other day. And the Teslas, even though it's without FSD or autopilot or anything, on the base version of the assistance of the autopilot, right, that comes standard with every Tesla, you have the blind spot monitor. So this is not correct. This is not valid. All right. And here with the IONIQ 6, you would have to purchase this. Okay. Next, remote smart parking assist. Again, available. This would be an add-on where it's standard on the Tesla. Okay. So far, I would say that the IONIQ is only winning on price. Okay. And I don't I don't know if the Hyundai Ioniq 6 qualifies for the IRA credit or the full IRA credit. So this may not even be cheaper, right? But let's just give it the win right now. So it's 1-2. All right, what's next? Hyundai Digital Key 2. So they're sitting there here saying that it's a standard again on Tesla, but it's available for the Hyundai. Okay, so interesting. So far, besides price, Tesla's won on all these categories. All right, what else we have here? Okay, 12.3-inch touchscreen display with navigation. Well, that's interesting, right? Because like we're comparing on this. Why is this the comparison? Like the comparison should be some like generic topic or category, right? It should be touchscreen display, maybe would be one, not the 12.3. Anyways, it's standard with the IONIQ 6, and the Tesla, again, in my opinion, comes out ahead at 15.5 inch. Now, over here, you can also see that they have yet another category, 12.3 inch fully digital instrument cluster, standard, but not available on Tesla. It's because Tesla doesn't need it. Tesla doesn't use that. Again, I think this is a disingenuous call out here, but so they're giving Tesla the loss on that. All right, hands-free smart trunk release. I'm not sure about this one, but it's available here for IONIQ 6, and it says available, gesture required for Tesla. I'm not sure what this means. I don't think there's any gesture for Tesla. All the Teslas I've had or used, or you can push the button and it'll close, or you can do it from the car. So I'm not really sure what they're trying to say here. So I'm just gonna ignore that one. Safe exit assist. This is standard here. It's not available for Tesla apparently. So what is this? When the vehicle is parked, safe exit assist can alert the driver when a vehicle is approaching from behind. When child locks are active, SEA prevents initial disabling of the child safety locks if a vehicle approaching from behind is detected. SEA does not work in all situations and is not a substitute for driver passenger activeness. Okay, so I'm not really sure how they're judging this one because I would say Tesla has all this built-in safety inherently, right? Like it'll beep at you if you're doing something. It'll try to correct if you're trying to go to the wrong lane, if you're trying to pull out. So, I mean, we've seen time and time again, like these videos of Teslas that aren't on FSD, aren't on autopilot, that essentially save, end users. So I'm not sure where they're coming with this, but again, this seems disingenuous because it seems like they're doing this, or they're saying that it's not available on a technicality. So even so, like you could put available and have it be FSD beta, and you just say this and you have to purchase or enhance autopilot. But this, to me, this is wrong. All right. Auto retracting flush door handles. They both have that standard. Okay. Vehicle onboard power outlet available. So again, another add-on, not available for Tesla. This one's right. Okay. So this is, I would say, the first real win that the IONIQ 6 has with this comparison. You're right. There is no, 110 outlet, at least not the way they have it with the IONIQ 6. So And I think that would be cool to have that in the back seat, just so you can like charge your laptop while you're driving or something, especially if you're in a robo taxi environment, you want to be able to plug in, do some work. So I like that. And then here we go again, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And this is standard with the Ioniq 6, but says not available at Tesla. Again, this is very, very sketchy in my opinion. Okay, this is technically, and this is semantics, correct, because it says 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. However, if I come over here and I go to Tesla's website, model specs warranty, here we go, warranty. Let me see if I can zoom in on this so you guys can see this. So this has a basic vehicle 4 years or 50,000 mile, whichever comes first, right? And so that's for the vehicle. But the battery and the drive unit, it's 8 years or 120,000 miles, whichever comes first. So no, it is not the 10-year 100,000 miles, but they do have a 8-year 120 and a 4-year 50,000 mile warranty. So to me, to say not available, this again is disingenuous. So what did the Hyundai Ioniq 6 really win with these comparisons based on these criteria metrics? Well, they did win on price by, call it $1,500, assuming we don't include the IRA at all. And they have a 110 outlet. Okay, so that's all that they really won on. Okay, so let's revisit what this was all about initially. Okay, we had the 18-minute fast charge from 10% to 80%, up to 361 miles range, Blue Link plus connected car service. Okay, so let's first talk about this 18-minute fast charging from 10 to 80%. All right, now as most of you know, my background is mechanical electrical engineering. So when it comes to electrons, I would say I am pretty familiar. Okay. And what I would say is that this claim, while okay, it may be true, it there's a lot to it. Okay. So first things first, this would require a supercharger that's I think like 350 kilowatts, and it's going to be an 800-volt supercharger. There aren't that many. We'll just level set there. There aren't that many out there. Electrify America is what the only other competitor to Tesla supercharger really, and there just aren't that many out there. So we'll just start with that. Availability is very sparse, and I'll show you that in a second. But the other thing to keep in mind is fast charging batteries isn't actually a good thing. Okay. Now there's a fine line between going too slow and taking forever and you can't get to where you want to get to. But then there's also a fine line between battery harm, right? Reducing the lifespan of your battery. And so why would fast charging do that? Well, on a high level, right? Just to keep this not too deep, what happens is when you charge faster, what you're really doing is you're cranking up the amperage. And if there's one thing you should know, like people always talk about, oh, it's dangerous, high voltage. Voltage isn't actually what harms people. It's the amperage, right? So you could have like really high voltage but low amperage, and you'll be fine. But if you have high amperage, that's what's dangerous. And so when you have high amperage, like if you've ever felt your phone get really hot, or if you've ever had, a dongle or some kind of connector for your computer and you have a whole bunch of things plugged into it and you feel it and it's getting really, really hot, that's the amperage, right? That's hot. It's just drawing a lot of amps. And what that does is it creates a lot of heat. And that's what you feel. That's why our computers have fans on them, right? To wick away the heat, right? We have heat sinks for this to disperse the heat. And so long story short, heat is the worst thing for pretty much everything, right? Heat is just as bad as rust. All right. That's how you should think of it. Heat deteriorates things, it reduces lifespan, and it'll destroy anything. Heat's the enemy. Okay. Heat is inefficiency, is what heat is. All right. That's why it's called heat, waste heat. So we don't want heat. So yes, in theory, this is cool and all, right? Maybe you get this charge, 3-4 minutes faster, but is that really worth the potential damage to your battery? I don't know. To each their own. All right. So, but let's take a quick look at what I have here. Let me stop sharing my screen here, and I will share the other one. But I want to compare the maps, right? Let's see what the real difference is when it comes to the supercharging stations. Because if it's all the same, if it's apples to apples, then great. But if it's not, well, then what's the point of having this ability to charge so fast if we don't really have the infrastructure for it? So here we go. Here's the Tampa Bay area. And I'll even slide down just to be completely transparent. And see, we have one charger here. If I click on that, it'll zoom in and it'll tell you we have one, two, three of those 350 kilowatt fast chargers, right? For that 800 volt, for that, 10 to 80% in 18 minutes, right? There's only three of them in that location. Three, like these are three charging station, like where you can actually plug into, not like, think of it if you think gas stations, like this would be three pumps, right? So they only have three pumps. So that's not great, right? So you're probably gonna be waiting in line for a while, and that's all the way up there, right? That's pretty far north from where I live, right? And I live all the way over here, right? And then if we go all the way, another hour and a half south, we got another one here, and we can see that they have one, two, three, four. So a total of seven in about a, call it, 2 to 3 hour radius of driving. All right. So that's not great. So just trying to be as transparent as here, as even as possible. So I'm zooming out again. All right. So you can see, like, we're going pretty far down here, all the way up here, and you can see what's going on over here. The gray are to be added in the future, but that's not going to work for today. So we're not counting those. Then we got Tesla, and here's Tesla. Okay. Now I'm zoomed in a lot more with Tesla, but you can see the big difference. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'm zoomed in a lot more. That's 12 locations of superchargers that are active. And there's about eight superchargers at each one. So it's about 96 stations or pumps that you could go and charge at. This is the difference, right? This is a big difference. So it's great that you could charge that fast, but first of all, are there even any locations nearby? Second of all, those locations, how many of those fast chargers do they have? And then the big thing that nobody really ever talks about is the fact that Electrify America is always down, right? So these are big problems. And Tesla is opening up their network to everybody else right now. But the truth is that right now they're not using 800 volt systems. So it really renders it useless. And again, if I zoom out, to the same kind of proportionality I did for Electrify America, you can see we have even more superchargers. So it's really, when it comes to the supercharger network, like you're not going to be able to compete against Tesla. Look at this. It's just insane. We've talked about the 18-minute fast charging, 10 to 80%. We've talked about how it's kind of pointless because you're going to hurt your battery, odds are. And then two, even if you find a charger that can go that fast, they are rare and hard to find. And you're gaining minutes. You're really not making that big of a difference. Again, my wife and I, we swung by the airport coming back from the Outer Banks from a wedding, and we stopped, like 5 miles outside from the airport. Right, I would say we were probably at like 10% battery, and we plugged up. We walked to Chick-fil-A. We got our order from Chick-fil-A. We walked back. Before I could even start eating, the vehicle was done charging, and it's not like this was half an hour or anything, right? Right. It was literally just us walking across the parking lot, getting Chick-fil-A, coming back, sitting in our car, and it's like, oh, I better unplug and move because I don't want to get charged extra for staying in the spot when we're done charging, right? And that was to 80%. Hertz had it limited to 80%, so I couldn't go more. So yeah, so it's not really an issue. This is just a big misnomer that people think is this big issue that it isn't. All right, so okay, so we've covered that. Let's talk about the 361-mile range, and let's compare that with Tesla. So here we can see that the Tesla Model 3, right now we're looking at the kind of the standard, the rear-wheel drive. But what they were comparing based off the price was this one right here, the long range, okay? Now, mind you, if we're going to throw back in the price, you can see that the Tesla wins here by far. But if we come here to look at the long range has 325 plus miles. Okay, so yes, the IONIQ does have more range, right? 361 miles, what they estimate. This says 325 plus, just call it 325. Okay, so you have an extra 35 miles on of distance you can travel. Great, you can have that, right? Meanwhile, the Tesla is probably going to last longer. It's safer. It's, I could say that you have the supercharging network, so that's a big advantage. I think it has better features as far as FSD, autopilot, things of that nature. So to me, it's that part is just it's not worth it, right? I would rather sacrifice those 30-35 miles of potential range, which, depending on what chemistry they're even using, it may not even be a true range, right? There's so much you can go into that. But I would give that up for the network. That to me is a no-brainer. And the other thing that's interesting to point out is, do you notice that in the Ionic 6, like if I come back here, like we can go through all of this. At no point, like they talk about range, they talk about horsepower, the price, 20-inch wheels available, right? That's another upcharge, right? I can look at this. You won't see anything about how fast it can go, right? I'm looking here, looking, there's nothing about speed. Looking at this, nothing about performance. There's nothing. Questions about going electric. Okay. Like, again, nice. Again, they keep harping on this charging thing. So, whatever. Okay, cool. Looking for it. Still not. Okay, performance. You would think it'd be here, right? Okay, torque 446, 320 horsepower. No, still nothing. It's interesting that they leave this out. Okay, so meanwhile, let's go to Tesla. And if we go to the Tesla and we look at Model 3, I can scroll down. There is the first thing that comes up here: 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds. 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds. Like, this is a very performant vehicle. This is impressive. Now, I don't know if they're all this way. We can just take a quick look just to be completely unbiased. Let's go to order now, and let's see what the okay, so this would be 5.8 seconds for the Model 3 here, but we're looking at the long range, so 4.2 seconds, right? Top speed 145 miles. So still, like, it's weird that they don't talk about this with the Ioniq 6. They seem to leave that out. Right? So let's talk about the last thing that was on that ad, and that was right here talking about introducing Blue Link Plus, right? So they were saying that Tesla, one, that comparison thing that we're going through, that clearly showed that Tesla's a superior vehicle, which is hilarious, right? Their own testing, their own metrics. But then for that ad, they're saying that Tesla doesn't have the fast charging of 10 to 80% because they're not using these 350 kilowatt superchargers. Meanwhile, no one with the Ioniq 6 is using that either because they're so sparse and few in between. And hey, you're also potentially ruining the longevity of your battery. But hey, who cares about that? So they talk about that. They talk about the range. You're right. There's no debating that. The range is more than a Tesla based on these EPA estimates. So you got them there. Okay, cool. You have that. You stuffed a few extra cells, made the vehicle a little heavier just for that. Great. Another thing they said that, that you don't get with the Tesla is Blue Link Plus. Did you know you don't get Blue Link Plus with Tesla? I mean, geez, Tesla's really missing out, right? And you might be thinking, well, what the hell is Blue Link Plus, and why don't I get it with my Tesla? Well, the truth is you do. Just Tesla doesn't charge you a subscription fee for it. So what can you do with this? Well, you can control you can remote start and climate control your car. You can remote door lock and unlock your car. On-demand diagnostics and alerts, destination search. Ooh, you can have maps in there. What else we got? Ooh, remote car finder. Man, it's almost as if even my iPhone without a Tesla can do all this on its own. Weird. All right, so let's see. Great UI website design here, by the way. You completely cut off a vehicle charging dashboard. But man, I wish Tesla had a vehicle chart. Wait. Oh, they do. Okay. Enhanced roadside assistance. Oh, damn. Okay. Geofence curfew and speed alert. Okay. I don't think Tesla has this. This is interesting, but I mean, I don't know how much I need that or I'd want that. I don't need it. But hey, okay. I get that from a parent's perspective. But then again, there are other things you could do that don't require subscription. All right. So, oh, and don't forget, it's easy to set up. So let me see. Let's scroll down here. So, what is the difference between Blue Link and Blue Link Plus? Okay, Blue Link and Blue Link Plus both offer, let me zoom in. This might be hard to read. Blue Link and Blue Link Plus both offer the same services, okay, such as being able to remotely start your Hyundai, lock or unlock the doors, schedule EV battery charging, and more. The difference is in how you pay for them. Oh, great. Blue Link, which is available on most 2023 and older Hyundai models, except Ioniq 6, is complimentary for the first 3 years with the new vehicle purchase. After that, you'll pay a low monthly fee to continue your subscription, but we're not going to tell you what that subscription is, and it'll be a surprise. For 2023 IONIQ 6 and all 2024 and newer Hyundai models, BlueLink Plus is at no charge for all IONIQ 6 original owners. So for the original owners, there's no charge. After that, there is a charge. So this is just a way for them to try and get a subscription fee. You're seeing this with a lot of companies, Ford, GM, they're talking about nickel and diming people for every little thing, from like being able to warm your seats to, things like this, being able to unlock your car from your phone. Like, this is table stake stuff. Being able to schedule supercharging stuff. I mean, this is stuff that Tesla it's just a given. All right. It's just a given. And here we have Hyundai with the IONIQ 6 trying to make this comparison to Tesla. It's honestly comical. Like, when I saw this, I was like, you know what? I got to make a quick video about this. I couldn't help it. It really made me laugh. But we're going to leave it there. I hope, this kind of gave you some insight into what's going on with Hyundai, what's going on with the competition, what Tesla's doing, and how these two stack against each other. Look, at the end of the day, I like that Hyundai is going electric. Tesla can't do this all on their own, so kudos on them. And you know what? To be honest, I even like that they are competing against Tesla, because it's free advertisement for Tesla. And when people see this, they go to look at a Tesla. I think it'll be a no-brainer for many of them, especially if they start looking to supercharging network. If they start looking at the stuff that Tesla already you get by default, it's going to be a no-brainer in my opinion. But hey, you need variety out there. Tesla can't do it all alone. So keep going, Hyundai. Keep advertising for Tesla. It just puts more people in Teslas. I love it. All right. Thanks again. Do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. Love you all. Peace.